Hello, AP coordinators. This is Terry Redican, Vice President of AP Program Delivery. Before we begin this episode of Coordinated, I wanted to congratulate you for getting your students on their AP journey. You are among the 20,000 AP coordinators across the country who ensured that students would have an opportunity to challenge themselves by taking on college-level learning while in high school. Recognizing this year had unique challenges, it didn't stop any of you, and we're here to help. We are particularly excited to provide teachers and students with tools all year long, especially the new AP Daily Learning videos that students can watch on AP Classroom. If you haven't checked them out yet, I encourage you to give them a look. We thank you for all you do and for all you continue to do. And now, it's time to enjoy the next episode of Coordinated.
Since 1955, the College Board's Advanced Placement Program has been delivering excellence in education to millions of students worldwide through over 18,000 AP programs. And in each of those AP programs, an important role. Really important. And it's there we find the AP coordinator. So, what makes a good AP coordinator? Well, I believe the best AP coordinators are dedicated, motivated, and coordinated. My name is Derek Cometa, and this is Coordinated. Thanks for joining us for a series of interviews with experienced and incredibly talented AP coordinators. This school year, more than just about any in recent history, presents some unique and unprecedented times for schools and AP programs. Perhaps there is no better time to share our collective voices and perspectives. Coming up today on Coordinated. So when you say you have a lot of student changes happening all at the same time, how many are we talking about?
Oh, well, we've got multiple sections of almost every AP class, so maybe up to 400 or 500 each trimester.
Period 1. Dedicated.
A change of pace. Most often that means things are speeding up or slowing down. And for AP coordinators who furiously worked to get their AP exam orders submitted, slowing down the pace, well, dropping down a gear is a welcome thought. But change is something that continues, specifically student schedule changes. Sadly, students do not stop changing their schedules just because we've submitted our AP exam order. It's not that easy. Fortunately, we have an expert AP coordinator with us today, and that's not really giving her justice. Her name and voice are well known in the world of AP coordinators. I might even say famous. Today we share a conversation with none other than the co-host of the AP Coordinator webinar series and the co-moderator of the AP Coordinator community, Carrie Larrison. Carrie, welcome to Coordinated.
Oh, thanks, Derek. And as always, I love spending time talking about AP.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate the time. And as we begin, I have to start with an unconfirmed rumor that we must have verified. So, Carrie, true or false, you were a high school class valedictorian.
Oh my gosh, should I tell you that? Yes, I was a valedictorian at Jefferson Davis High School in Montgomery, Alabama. And notice I said a valedictorian, not the valedictorian. We didn't have weighted courses. We were on a straight 4.0 scale. So there were 10 of us who actually tied out of about 660 students.
But the answer is still true.
Yes, it is. But it was a close call, I have to admit. And the class that almost knocked me out of contention, driver's ed.
Driver's ed. Well, I will remember that when we can travel very safely again. I'll be sure to be the one doing the driving when we're heading out to our next face-to-face coordinator workshop. And oh my gosh, Carrie, we've been friends. Driver's ed. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
We've been friends for a while, Carrie. So I do think I know you well enough to summarize your background in education like this. So you went from high school valedictorian to Ball State University, proud alumni, to high school teacher, to high school counselor, and then after all that work, you reached the pinnacle and became an AP coordinator.
Wow, you're good. And now I'm a podcast guest, which is pretty exciting too. And this is going to be really hard to top.
I'm happy to hear you think of it that way.
Yeah, and as you know, I was a math teacher, and early on, I really wanted to teach AP statistics. That was my favorite class in college. But sadly, my school was very small back then, and we didn't offer AP courses. So teaching AP, unfortunately, was not an option.
Well, Carrie, let's move forward in time and talk about what's keeping you busy these days.
Yeah, well, I'm a grandma, actually Nana. And I wish I was spending more time with my 3 grandchildren, but of course, COVID is keeping us a little too separated. But hopefully, by the time my 3 new ones are born in 2 to 5 months, we'll be able to get together more. In the meantime, it's been so much fun co-hosting the AP webinars with Mark Helgeson. And you've had him on here as a guest already, so everyone already knows how much fun he is. And it's been great helping to plan those and have the opportunity to work with Mark.
And Carrie, as I mentioned in your introduction, you are also co-moderator of the AP coordinator community.
Yes, yeah, the community it's always helped me in the past. And Carrie Franz, my co-moderator, is fantastic to work with as well. And we just both love how much we're able to help our fellow AP coordinators around the country, on the community. However, I do want to point out that it's not just Carrie and myself who can answer questions. We love it when other coordinators jump in, share their experiences, and answer questions. As you know, there's so many experts out there. It's just great to hear their voices as well.
And Carrie, how about Westfield High School in Indiana, your school? At your school, you do the master schedule, and not just any master schedule, but one for trimesters.
Yes, yeah. I honestly, I can't say enough about Westfield High School and our AP teachers, especially. They're phenomenal. They've got such a passion for the students and for AP, so I'm so fortunate in that respect. And yes, I love the master schedule. Almost as much as I love AP. Not quite, but almost. And I know trimesters make the schedule a little more challenging, but that's actually what I love about it. The bigger the puzzle, the more I love it.
Hello, fellow AP coordinators. I'm Carrie Larrison.
And I'm Carrie Franz.
We moderate the AP Coordinator Community, a free online platform connecting over 6,000 AP coordinators from around the world.
On the community, AP coordinators ask questions, share information and resources, and professionally connect.
We coordinators, we control how little or how much we use the community. We can receive updates daily, weekly, or as they happen. Or we can see what's being shared each time we sign in.
On the community, the discussion board is the hub of communication. It is here that coordinators post questions, share best practices, and gain valuable information to best support our AP programs.
Finally, the community is a spot to share and download successfully used resources by our fellow coordinators. Why reinvent the wheel when these valuable tools are right at our fingertips?
So how do we access this community? It's simple. Go to apcommunity.collegeboard.org to get started and request your free membership.
Again, that's apcommunity.collegeboard.org. This year more than ever, we think it's important to be part of the AP coordinator community, and together we'll figure out how to best support AP programs at our schools.
Thanks, everyone. We look forward to coordinating with you.
Period 2. Motivated.
Carrie, we're back, and that was a familiar voice there talking about the AP coordinator community. But before the break, we were speaking about schedules.
Yes, we were.
And one of the ongoing tasks for AP coordinators is to keep track of any student schedule changes, to make sure that AP registration and ordering stays matched up with those changes. It's important to not only keep students in their correct class sections, but also to stay on top of adds and drops and, of course, transfers.
Yeah, and that's definitely important. And the good news is for most of us, we're experiencing that change of pace you talked about earlier. For example, many of the student schedule changes have slowed down by now. Well, unless you're on trimesters like me. And for counselors, a lot of the college applications are slowing down now too.
A welcome change of pace.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Carrie, let's get into some tips for AP coordinators around this topic. You have a lot of firsthand experience with this. So what's first on your list?
Well, the first thing is that we AP coordinators need to stay in the loop. Obviously, we can't do anything about student schedule changes if we don't hear about them in the first place. So it's really important to keep those lines of communication open with AP teachers, counselors, and maybe the registrar or attendance office. Personally, I'd rather hear about a schedule change or transfer multiple times than not at all.
That gives me flashbacks, Carrie, as someone who also used to do the master schedule and all the student schedule changes at my former school. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, and at my school, I like using a Google Sheet that I've given the other counselors access to so that they can record any changes they make. Now, alternately, you might remember that Carrie Franz made the suggestion to have all AP-related schedule changes go through her, the AP coordinator. And that sounds like your former situation, Derek.
It was, or it is, I should say. Awareness is really key for the AP coordinator. As you said, just simply staying in the loop is important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you are in the loop. You hear about those student schedule changes. You're aware of them. You make the corresponding adjustments in AP registration and ordering.
Right. And two important things to keep in mind. Change section does not impact the exam order status. So if it was a yes before, it's still a yes. If it was a no, it's still a no.
And the second thing?
Well, there's no need to submit an update to your exam order because change section does not impact your exam order status.
Okay, that makes sense to me for a student who is simply changing sections. But what about drops and what about transfers?
Yeah, well, those, if I'd ordered the exam for that student, then those actions do impact my exam order. So first, I'll need to make the drop or transfer in AP registration ordering. Then I'll need to submit a change to my order. So don't forget that last part. I always like to think of it like Amazon. You can put a bunch of stuff in your shopping cart, but you don't actually order them until you push that submit button to confirm it.
And how often do you do this, Carrie? How often are you submitting a change to your AP exam order?
Well, I do it every time I make a change. Now, of course, sometimes if I have a lot in the same day, I'll just wait until the end of the day. And then I've also heard that others maybe do it weekly and set a calendar reminder. But honestly, whatever works for you is fine. Just do it. That's the important part.
Now I'm very curious. How many updates to your order do you think you submitted last year?
Oh, gosh, probably 40 to 50.
Wow. Carrie, as usual, you are exceeding all expectations. That's quite a few. I guess it's no surprise that you are a role model for submitting your exam order early and then just updating, and updating. Now, Carrie, please correct me if I'm wrong. Most coordinators, most already do know that this is important. I think you've heard that some coordinators are actually hoping for advice on what else they can do to keep their exam order accurate and up to date.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that. And you can definitely count me in that group too.
So what can coordinators do? What are some things that an AP coordinator, what do they have direct control over? And I didn't say that very well. So by that, I mean, how can AP coordinators make sure that the exam order stays accurate? It can be a bit challenging because and of course we hope this doesn't happen, But if there are any late or unexpected student enrollments, well, those students will likely come in as undecided for their exam status. So the coordinator then needs to find out if that student wants an exam, and if yes, then the coordinator changes the exam order status and submits an update in AP registration and ordering.
Yeah, and I can't stress how important this is. And I've heard that this was an issue last spring in some cases. Some students enroll late and the coordinator was not notified. So the student thought an exam was ordered, but unfortunately it was not.
Exactly. And we do not want any unexpected surprises, especially a student not having an exam when they wanted one. So, Carrie, now that we've talked about why it's important, what are some things coordinators can do to help keep that exam order accurate?
Sure. So there are some things that I've heard in workshops and on the community that I can share. Keep in mind these are optional, though. You don't have to do these things. They're just suggestions. And I'll admit, though, Derek, I'm a little bit of a control freak.
As are many coordinators, I think. So I don't think you're alone in that, Carrie.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard that as well. But Derek, I've got 3 suggestions, and they're all really good ones. So first, expire your join codes. Now, I like to do this right after the final exam order is submitted. So obviously now is a really great time for that. And after I expire join codes, a student can no longer use that specific code to enroll in a class section. So if they wrote it down at the beginning of the year, it won't work now. So keep in mind, though, this helps, but it doesn't prevent new enrollments since a new join code is automatically generated and a teacher might give that code to a student.
So if I'm understanding that correctly, you could expire join codes, then tell your AP teachers not to give out the new join code. And that should help to ensure that student enrollment does not happen without you knowing about it.
Correct, yes.
And Carrie, we have a hot little insider tip.
Yeah, we do. This isn't really widely known yet, but AP registration ordering now allows the AP coordinator to expire all join codes for all sections with just one click. And it's way easier than last year where the AP coordinator would have had to go into each section individually to do this. So I'm really happy about this. And this new option was in response to a direct request from us, from AP coordinators. So that's really great too. I like that.
And coordinators, to do what Carrie's talking about, to expire all join codes at once, just go into Settings, open Roster Management, then click the button that conveniently says Expire All Join Codes. And remember, once you push that button, there is no going back. All the join codes that previously existed will no longer be valid.
Yeah, that's right. And it's so simple. But you do still have the ability to expire join codes individually if that works better for you. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Carrie, thank you for that. That's expiring join codes. That's a good one. What's next?
Matching section enrollment. And I would consider doing this after the exam order is submitted as well. And it really just helps prevent enrollment without you knowing about it.
Right, because students cannot enroll in a section that is already at the set capacity, the capacity that's set by the AP coordinator. I can see how that would be helpful. Carrie, how do you make this happen?
Well, this was pretty easy as well. So you go to your courses page and find the course you want to work on, and then go to the Actions button, click on Edit Section, and you can manually change the maximum number of students to match whatever your current enrollment is.
Okay, so that's expiring join codes and matching section enrollment. What is next?
All right, so my next one is disable the teacher's ability to manage the AP classroom student roster. For the coordinator, this essentially means the teacher's ability to change section. And again, I'd consider this after the exam order is submitted as well.
Right, so this helps to ensure that student schedule changes funnel through you, or at least hopefully so.
Yeah, right. And again, it's super easy to do. So in AP registration ordering, again, go to the Settings tab, then Roster Management, and then click the button that says Disable Teacher Management of the Student Roster.
And you can turn that particular feature off and on as many times as you like. Again, this setting allows AP coordinators to prevent teachers from moving students to a different class section that they teach, and it prevents them from dropping students. And dropping students, as you know, could impact the exam order.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I usually leave the setting on for the first week of the new trimester so my teachers can they can help me keep things in order, but then I turn it off. And we'll talk more about this just in a little bit.
I can't wait. Expiring join codes, matching section enrollment, disabling teachers' ability to change section. Anything else?
Now, those are the 3 that I use, and I think that's enough. I mean, I'm not that much of a control freak.
Okay, I was just getting greedy there. I was hoping for one more. Really great stuff, Carrie. Thanks so much for sharing. And everyone, we are talking about all this because it's important to have a well thought out plan to keep your student information system matched up with AP registration and ordering.
Yeah, correct. And after the break, Derek, I get to share some news about a handy new feature in AP registration ordering that just might help with this as well.
Now, that's a professional cliffhanger, Carrie. All right, well, hang on, everyone. Carrie says she has an important tip coming up, and we'll be right back after this professional tip.
Hello, fellow AP coordinators. Karen Mayton here, coming to you from the Office of Testing and Accountability for Region 12 in Central Texas. We just heard Carrie share that she likes to submit her initial exam order as early as possible, and then just make some minor updates along the way as needed. I do the same thing. And if you are like me, you are a part-time detective, a private eye, meaning you sometimes need to go back and research the details of a particular update for a student. The good news, this is easy. We have 2 options. 1, go to the orders page in AP Registration and Ordering. At the top, we see a program summary. Below that is a View Order History link. And from there, we can download order details. Very helpful. Our second option is on the student's page. Here we can download the student roster. As we open the spreadsheet, the last column, V as in victory, which is all the way to the right, that column features an enrollment date. This is also very helpful if and when you may need to go back and do any investigative work. Good luck, everyone, and stay safe.
Period 3. Coordinated.
All right, Carrie, I would call for a drum roll, but that might be overdoing it a little.
Maybe just a little, but it is time to announce the new option in AP registration and ordering.
All right, let's do it. Let's set the stage first.
Okay.
So, a student has a schedule change. A student needs to be moved from one class section to another class section of the same course. Let's say Billy needs to move from Period 1 AP US History to Period 2. What would you do?
Well, typically the AP coordinator would access the student's page and use the change section action, or the teacher could do this as well, and that's what we just talked about.
And this is what a majority of schools want to continue doing for a single student making a single change like this, or even for a small batch of students. It's quick, it's easy, it has a high degree of accuracy.
Yeah, correct. But there are a few who have special situations, like mine, that might want to consider using the new option.
Okay, so Carrie, let's explain your particular situation first.
Yeah, so again, we're on trimester, so it's a little bit of a crazy master schedule, and there's some major schedule changes between trimester 1 and trimester 2, and then again between trimester 2 and trimester 3. So it can get pretty hectic.
Carrie, I heard your voice go up a little bit when you said major student schedule changes. I can hear the anxiety in your voice a little bit there. So when you say you have a lot of student changes happening all at the same time, how many are we talking about?
Oh, well, we've got multiple sections of almost every AP class, so maybe up to 400 or 500 each trimester.
Okay, that's a lot of students changing their schedules all at once. I can see I can see why you might be excited about this new option. So tell us more about it.
Right. So here's what's new. AP coordinators and AP teachers can direct students to follow the same process they use to enroll into class sections at the beginning of the school year, meaning that if a student changed sections, they can just re-enroll in the new section. And again, it's really important to stress that we AP coordinators, we still have 100% control over this process.
That sounds promising, Carrie. How does this work?
Well, step one, the AP coordinators or the AP teachers share the join code to the new section with the students. And by new, I mean the join code for the section the students are changing into.
Okay, I think I'm following. A bunch of students are in AP US History Period 1 in the first trimester. They are all moving to Period 2 in the second trimester. So you give them the join code for Period 2.
Yeah, exactly. And then step two, the students enroll in the new section for their My AP homepage. And this is the same way they initially enrolled in the AP course at the start of school.
And that's easy. They all know how to do this already. They just did it. It's the same process students use to enroll in the class section at the start of school. Students just go to My AP. They find the yellow button that says Join a Course or Exam. They click that button, and then they enter the join code for their new class section, and it's done.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The students moved into the new section, and the change will be visible in AP registration and ordering.
All right. I said it was done, but it really is done. I wasn't sure. I said done question mark, but it's done, period. It's done.
Yeah.
So talking through that, Carrie, it does seem pretty easy, and I can see why that might be helpful if, like you have a ton of student changes all happening at the same time in a short period of time.
Yeah, and as a student enrolls in their new class section, they'll also see a pop-up window confirming that they do want to make that switch. So it's really clear.
So, Carrie, from an AP coordinator's perspective, changing sections is one thing, and I'd still be a little nervous or concerned about my exam order. How would this impact the exam order?
Yeah, well, first of all, I understand that concern, but good news, there is no impact on the exam order. So if the student was a yes for their exam decision, they're still a yes. And if they were a no, they're still a no. So let me say that again, no impact on your exam order.
So, Carrie, it sounds like you've thought this out just a little bit. So how are you going to implement this process at your school?
Well, of course, I'll work with my AP teachers to control this. Now, at the beginning of each of our trimesters, we do allow 5 days to make schedule changes. So at the end of that time, I'll ask the AP teachers to give out the join code, to those students who need it, and then have them make the schedule change sections.
That's a great point when you say those students who need it, because not all students will need to re-enroll.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Only those students who change section of the trimester or a semester, if you're on semesters, will need to do this. So if a student stayed in the same period, they're already in the right section.
All right. And just to be clear, this new option does not replace the AP coordinator's ability to change sections, which we described earlier. Coordinators can still go in and manually change a student's section one by one, just as they always have. This is just another option.
Right. Yeah. And it's not for everyone. But, I'd only consider using it if, like me, you've got a ton of changes all at the same time.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that breaking news with us, Carrie. And what should AP coordinators do if they have more questions about this?
Well, Derek, of course, I recommend going to the AP coordinator community in that case.
Good plug for the community, Carrie. And seriously, I believe that I speak loudly for AP coordinators everywhere who appreciate all the work you do, not just on the community and in the webinars and in your workshops, just really everything you're also doing behind the scenes. You are amazing, a true advocate for AP, and we thank you so much.
Oh, thanks. And I hope everyone knows how much I love helping all the other AP coordinators.
Carrie, you know how we like to wrap this up.
Yes, I do.
Even superstars like you do not get to duck the final question. So, Carrie Larrison, what does being an AP coordinator mean to you?
Well, I think the main thing is that I get to play a role in helping students take courses that will challenge them and then also help them earn college credit. And as a parent of 4 students who went to college, I know how important that is to both the students and the parents. But it's also been fun to get to know the students who are on my caseload. And honestly, I love everything about being an AP coordinator.
When it comes to AP coordinators, Carrie Larrison, well, she's about as high profile as you can get. Not only does she run her own large, high-performing AP program in Indiana, she's also tirelessly helping thousands of AP coordinators all across the world. Large program, small program, public school, independent school, rural or inner city, all AP coordinators make an impact helping hundreds of thousands of students have a positive AP experience and earn college credit and/or placement. And while Carrie is in the spotlight a bit more than most, that spotlight, it's big enough and bright enough for us all. AP coordinators, standing in the spotlight. Great AP coordinators, combined with great AP teachers and school administration, all making a difference. Creating model AP programs, proving what it means to be coordinated. Coming up next time, with the holiday week nearly upon us, we'll publish something short and sweet. We're also planning out new topics and special guest stars for December. If you have any suggestions, please rate our show and write a review. We love hearing from you, and we'd love to get your feedback. We look forward to our next episode together on Coordinated. Thank you for listening to Coordinated. Our executive producer is Bill Lankenow, with assistance from Tierra Pinto. Special thanks to AP Coordinator Leslie Ladd for her class period announcements, Amy O for her amazing artwork as an AP Art and Design student, and of course, Jackie Ray, former AP Music Theory student. Our theme music is Good as Gold. Coordinated is written, recorded, designed, and produced by myself, Derek Cometa. Thanks to Jim Cluley, Terry Redican, and all my colleagues at the College Board for allowing me to connect with my favorite people in all of education. Please do not miss an episode. Subscribe to Coordinated and tell your friends. If so inclined, please rate and write a review as well. Your feedback, it's really important to us. Just like an AP exam, we'd love to earn a 5. For more information, please visit collegeboard.org/AP coordinator training. That's one word, collegeboard.org/AP coordinator training. And AP coordinators, just like the song says, you are definitely good as gold.
Just don't know I'm good as gold, and maybe I just don't know I'm good as gold. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, and maybe I just don't. Till I believe it's so. I'm good as gold.